Joining us now with reaction to Randi Rhodes' suspension is the author. If Democrats had any brains, they'd be Republicans. Ann Coulter and radio talk show host John Carlson. All right, you've heard what Randi Rhodes said, Ann. Not that you've ever made any controversial comments about anybody. Should she be suspended? She was suspended.
Well, first of all, to compare me to, this woman yelling vulgarities is like comparing Mark Twain to someone farting in church.
The nasty things you say are better crafted.
Well, I'll skip the comparisons, but I mean, yeah, the people have spoken. I survive because people buy my books.
Right.
She doesn't survive because no one is listening.
Well,
the market
that's not the issue. The issue is, should she be allowed to continue to be on the air?
Be allowed? I think Republicans should pay for her to be broadcast across the South. Sounds like the nanny.
Right,
and screaming vulgarities.
All right. John, I have a problem with the idea that we fire someone because they say something controversial. She didn't even say it on the air, by the way. By the way, I don't approve of what she said. Don't agree with what she said.
She said it's a children's leukemia.
Right. Even Ann Coulter says very nasty, horrible things, but at least they're fairly funny and fairly well crafted most of the time, vile though they are.
Right.
I don't think that someone should be fired for saying something reprehensible in a non-radio setting, for example.
People say, should Randi Rhodes be fired? I'm still wondering, why was she hired? these people.
Look, she was a successful radio host in Palm Beach. She got ratings.
These people, they can't get a gig on NPR. They finally get, on Air America. You think they'd be grateful. Instead, they're snarling. They squirrel away all this hostility and then let it loose.
All right, but the key issue is, what do you do with someone when they make these kinds of
things? I think we ask Don Imus what should happen to him.
Yeah, let him decide.
No, I think
he shouldn't have been fired either, though.
I think what she said was so appalling that if she had any credibility, clearly it's collapsed, and clearly she should go away.
When you say go away, though, go away because she's fired, forced to go away? You want a radio station to fire?
Hopefully Air America. I mean, I'm not.
No, but I'm asking, should they fire her? Yes or no?
They should say, please quit embarrassing us and leave.
All right, well, the point is...
Let me jump in here.
You're not really answering now.
I may surprise everybody here, and I've been told, I've never heard this woman's show, that she attacks me. Fine, say anything you want. Here's the problem we have. We've got a bunch of losers in their basement that literally, John Carlson, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Kirby Wilbur, John Carlson, Neil Bortz, Mark Levin, all they do at Fox News, monitor every sentence, every word, every phrase, every paragraph. You know what they want? They want a gotcha. And they want to silence you because they don't like their political views. I don't want her fired. If you don't like her show, don't listen. That's the answer.
Well, that's already happened.
What's happening.
Yeah, that's actually a big...
no, but that's what I'm saying. The market does decide these things. And I promise you, you're not going to lose your advertisers. Alan won't lose, and John won't lose advertisers, and I'm not going to lose my book buyers.
Right.
She has lost her last listener. So the market does decide. What you're talking about is when they start up a mob to get not viewers or listeners or book buyers to make a decision about people, but to put so much pressure on NBC to pull the plug on Imus or whomever.
And this is
That's
the point.
Completely different.
Everybody's got choices in life. If it's a radio, in New York City, for example, there are 50 choices on the radio dial or more that people can listen to. If you don't like what they're saying, John, change the dial. And she didn't even say this on the radio.
From a strict conservative point of view, Ann's right. Keep her on. Give her a megaphone. Give her an extra microphone.
Republicans should be paying for it.
You would think that liberals, you'd think that Alan Colmes would say, please go away. Because you would think that she is embarrassed the liberal
All right, look,
cause.
I found what she's... I don't want to say it's obviously offensive, but you know what? If people want to go to a comedy show, there are certain comedians that they're going to have profanity-laced, routines.
Sure.
And you either want to go or you don't want to go. If you want to go see Randi Rhodes, she's, an angry liberal. So you're going to probably hear what you heard. So no one's forcing anybody to go see her. I mean, I don't understand this attitude that everybody gets so upset, so outraged, they're so shocked. How many times have you been through this, Ann, in your career?
That's why I loved listening to Geraldine Ferraro in the prior segment. I love seeing Democrats treated like Republicans.
That's a great line.
So much fun.
That's almost as good as Imus line.
And Hillary's being treated like a Republican now by the mainstream media. This is really, it's quite enjoyable.
This is the first time I've seen the politics and political correctness aimed at Democrats.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, it's a wonderful thing to see.
Well, it is and it isn't, because I'm a supporter of free speech, and I believe that it's in jeopardy now because these special interest groups are so active in trying to silence voices that they disagree with, when the country would benefit with more free speech, not less.
I don't think this was a special interest group in this case. I mean, it may be that the president of Air America wants to get 12 listeners instead of 10.
All right, we got to take a break. More with both Ann and Mr. Carlson coming up right after the break. And then, can you guess who